The resolution requiring majority vote on the council in order for the Alabama legislature to consider proposed changes to Act 618 or any standing laws. Mr. Pruitt?
We just voted up or down, Mr. Calhoun.
All right, Mr. Pruitt. All right, item number 2 is resolute review of Infusion Lounge 3905 Troy Highway, sponsored by Councillor Mitchell.
Mr. President, we'll talk about it in the regular meeting, please, sir.
Okay. Ms. Blaylock, have we made contact with Infusion Lounge?
He's here. He came up to me before the meeting.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 3 is a resolution approving substantial amendments to the Community Development Block Grant to reprogram allocation to be used for rehabilitation of home facilities. We carried that over with the at the request of Councilwoman in District 3. Ms. Johnson, do you have any comments before we go forward on that one?
What number are we on? I'm sorry.
You got pick. Number 3?
No, I have no issues, and
I think your question was answered.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 4 is a resolution obligating ARPA funds for the Montgomery County Commission for the expansion of emergency service. I think that was the one we were talking about.
That's the one we carried over.
Okay, so we good on that one? Yeah, that's for the ambulance service out. I think the one, number 3, was the homeless service. And number 4 is the partnership with the Montgomery County Commission on the ambulance service out in the county. So I think we vote that up and down at the meeting. Item number 5 is the application for a towing company by Ernest Edwards, DBA Edwards Hauling and Towing.
Yeah. I want to, I'll talk about it in the council meeting, but if he's not present, we're going to carry it over.
Okay. You know, I think we talked about those no physical addresses in our last meeting. Did we get any information from licensing on how we address that?
Mr. President.
We can talk about it in the regular meeting.
We'll talk about, you want to listen to her? She coming in?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
They already operate without the license. Mine is.
Yes, ma'am.
There's nowhere in the ordinance that they have to have a physical location,
So we need to amend the ordinance if that's what we're going to make a change on.
if that's what you need to do.
Okay. All right.
Mr. President, I've already talked to Ms. Blaylock about some amendments we need to do on that as well, on that
Okay.
ordinance.
Yeah, I think if we want to make the change, we talked about it in our last meeting, we need to make the amendment on the ordinance so we can address that issue. So that's what we can do. We can come up with something to amend that. So in the meeting, I'll ask that you guys carry that over until we can come up with that ordinance. So,
Roger that.
all right. Item number 6, Ms. Beard, it's the same thing we talked about.
Correct, and we'll talk about it in
Okay.
5 o'clock.
Item number 7 is application for restaurant retail liquor license by Clay Southern Fried Chicken.
I have no issue with it. Regular session.
All right.
Mr. Calhoun, is that Clay McInnes?
No, sir. I don't think you know how to fry chicken. You Bill Bridges. Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. Okay, item number 8 in our new business is the ordinance delegating the Montgomery Planning Commission to the responsibility to provide a public hearing for site development plans. Mr. Mitchell, I think you're sponsoring that.
Yes, if Mr. Tate is in the building. We had a lengthy discussion, Mr. President, on some of the things that we would like to address and getting this back in front of the council. Mr. Tate, can you speak on this?
Yes, this is really simple. This was a situation where the Planning Commission previously would hold public meetings to allow the public to understand what's included on the site development plans that might be affecting their area of town, their neighborhood, their community. So basically, this is an opportunity to get some transparency in the process so that people who are affected by these developments will know what's going on.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Tate?
You do have a substitute on that one.
Yes, ma'am. We'll call it during the regular meeting.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tate. Item number 9 is a resolution consenting to the development of solar facilities within the drainage easement for Old Hamer Road Solar, LLC. I think that would be you, Mrs. Riley. Have any comments on that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in regular session.
All right, item number 10.
There are some representatives here from that if you want to hear from them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm just here to discuss, my name is Zoe Gobetz, I'm with Pine Gate Renewables. I'm here to discuss what the ask is for this consent agreement for building an existing drainage easement on the property. I have a presentation, but
Your name for the record.
Zoe Gobetz with Pine Gate Renewables, representing for Old Haynesville Solar.
How long is your presentation?
A couple slides, but
Okay.
I also can just summarize and speaking to it now, if
right.
that's easier. Essentially what we're doing, we have a drainage easement on the property site that's been in place since 1988. Since it is a little bit older and vague, we have drafted a new consent agreement that just affirms and enhances the legal language, protecting the city from any liability from us building in this proposed drainage easement. So we are just moving with our motion for the council to vote for the mayor to be able to execute this consent agreement to build within the drainage easement on the property.
No. All right, anyone from the council have any questions on this proposal?
We'll do it in regular session.
You guys have something you need to talk to us about?
We have the representative from city engineering and also our third-party engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let you know engineering's been in discussion with them. We have no objections to what they're proposing. One of the things I think is important to note is the size of this development. It's looking at about 100
Speak up,
plus.
can you speak up? We can't quite hear you.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Just to start over, just wanted to let you know that engineering has been in discussion with the development team and their engineers, and we have no objections to what they're proposing here. I think one item of note, just for your benefit, is that this is a very large project. It's about 700 acres in size. You're looking at about a capital investment of over $100 million. So it's a very large project coming to the city in the very near future.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Item 10, resolution authorizing development agreement related to documents for the use of grant public funds and things, sponsored by Councilor Samansky. Any questions, any comments on that, Mr. Samansky?
No, we've been in talks about this for a few months now, so glad to see this finalized.
Okay, so need some, okay, we talked about some specifics. I might ask those questions in the regular meeting. All right, thank you. Item number 11 is nomination for National Register Historic Places for council information, comments, and public comments. And we have four business, anyone here to speak to us on that item number 11?
We received 4 nominations from the Alabama Historical Commission. The first is for the First Baptist Church. His nomination is an individual site on the National Register. The second is for the Moore Building, an individual site on the National Register. The third is for the Centennial Hill Historic District to be on the National Register. And the fourth one is a multiple property documentation. This is really a context study of sites associated with the civil rights movement and a listing of properties that may come forward in the future for nomination to the National Register. They would have to go through the same process as the first 3. Really, we're presenting it today as really, one, to make the council members and the public aware that these nominations are proceeding, and secondly, to allow for anyone to submit comments or questions or their support for these nominations. Any emails can be submitted to me and I can forward them to the state, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Yes, sir. I have a question. The First Baptist Church, where exactly is that located when we say historic places?
Ripley Street.
Ripley.
Ripley Street?
Yeah.
Okay, the Moore Building. The Moore Building,
The Moore Building is South Court, just across from the bus terminal.
all right. All right, thank you, sir. Any questions?
Mr. President, I do, Warren, I noticed that, well, I do see that it says multiple property documentation, but is Jackson Street Baptist Church still a part of this package?
I will check and I can let you know
Okay.
later on. I believe so. And again, the multiple property documentation is simply a context for future nominations, so they are not being nominated at the moment. For instance, the Peacock Tract is included, and I believe the state are working on that at the moment, and that will go through the same process as the first three.
Okay. Well, I asked that because I know on the map that you said it was on there as one of the places, but is it individual or will it just be in the historic district? I want to ask for it to be an individual notice.
Sure. I believe if it came forward, it would be an individual nomination, unless, of course, they determined there was sufficient buildings surrounding it to create a district. But it would certainly be eligible for the individual nomination.
Okay, can we reconnect for that one?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, sir. Item 12, show cause hearing for proposed revocation of business license Kadera Milliner. I guess at that time we talked to him in a regular meeting. All right, 13, resolution revoking the business license for Kadera Milliner again. We'll talk with the owners of that business in the regular meeting. 14, show cause hearing for proposed revocation of business license for Camille Harris. We'll talk with that owner in the regular meeting. A show cause hearing on the proposed revocation of business license for Mr. Javar View. We'll speak on that in the regular hearing if the owners are here. And, okay, resolution for revoking the business license for Jabbar Bruce, Envy Lounge on McGee Road. We'll talk about that in the regular meeting. Okay, show cause hearing on the proposed revocation of a business license for Amir Hassan, SS Auto Cars. We'll speak on that item in the regular meeting. Okay. 19 is a resolution revoking the business license for Amir Hassan, S&S Auto Cars. We will talk about that in the regular meeting. Okay, item 20 is an appointment for the Montgomery Clean City Commission. Item number 21 is an appointment. Item 22 is an appointment. And item 23 and 24 is an abatement costs on the thing. All right, that completes the agenda for the work session. Any council member have anything before I get into the work session roster?
Yeah, Mr. President, I've had a couple of conversations with some people that are in the housing world, affordable housing and all of that, and I would like to see if Brenda, somehow in June, or Mr. President, that I have an opportunity to present the council with establishing a housing committee. So that way we can, and I would like to even ask, is Desmond here? He is, okay. I want to know if we had a housing survey already completed in the city. Have you ever done a housing survey for the city?
We're right now in the process of doing a housing
We can
study.
hear you.
We're right now in the process of doing a housing study for the entire city.
You're currently doing one? What's the timeline on completion?
It's going to be 6 or 7 months because we're looking at the entire city.
Okay. Okay, I would like to get a copy of that and see that once completed, so that way, I know, remember me talking about the housing trust fund, so ideally I would like to create this housing committee in order to look at different options for affordable housing and just have a committee that can meet and so we can move things forward and actually know where the city is as a whole.
And we're getting ready to have some meetings here shortly, sometime next month with the reinvestment fund that has kicked off the housing study, so I'll make sure you get an invitation.
Thank you.
You can talk to them.
Okay, thank you. That's it, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. President,
Mr. Mitchell?
Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, we have several Family Dollars that are closing in District 6. District 6 does not have a meeting place for the residents that stay in the Woodley Park, Spring Valley area. I want to make sure that we look into it. I think Commissioner Harris is looking to build a community center somewhere on Woodley Road. I think that building may be ideal if we can jump in front of it and just see what the owners of that establishment is willing to do with that building. They are out of state. They live in California. The building was built in 2015. It's roughly 8,300 square feet. And I just really would see something going into District 6 that the residents really want. They didn't initially want the Family Dollar, and now we see why. Because now it's about to be an empty building, and what I'm fearful of is already labeled commercial. We don't want another event center. We don't want any more liquor stores, any more lounges. We want something that's useful, Mr. Mayor. So I'm going to ask that the President do a committee so we can look at the idea of making that into a wraparound type of service or something that the community can utilize, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Mitchell, I commit to putting that in our Recreation Committee, and we'll look at what we need to do on that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? All right, in our work session communication, we have Mr. Ray Roden, chairperson for the Montgomery Waterworks and Sanitary Board.
Mr. President, I got a call from my appointment. He will not be here on this particular meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ms. Blaylock, note that that's a $5,000 fine to Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir, I noted.
Okay, Ms. Ashley Gorham, March of Dimes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ashley Gorham with the March of Dimes. Thank you so much for having me come today. I wanted to present to y'all a sponsorship opportunity for our upcoming March for Babies walk, which will take place on Saturday, May 18th at the Baptist Health DeBoer building. We will start gathering at 8 a.m. The program will start about 9:30, and we'll have a superhero sprint for the little kids right there about 9 o'clock. So would love your support. Would love for y'all to come out and enjoy the family festivities and bring your families and come support the community. And so I'll just drop these off with y'all. Does anybody have any questions about the March of Dimes?
Any questions? Oh, we have them already.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Ron Simmons, Chamber of Commerce. He's going to be here a little later. Okay, thank you. I'll call him one at a time. All right. Eagle Scouts, sponsored by Councillor Samansky.
Bobby Bradford is here to make a presentation.
That's his name, Bobby Bradford.
Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Bobby Bradford. I'm an Eagle Scout candidate from Troop 1. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'm looking for support for my Eagle Scout project. I'm building a 1/6 of a mile walking path for the Humane Shelter. It is going to be made of gravel with steel lining. I came up with this idea because of my involvement to the Humane Shelter during my merit badge citizenship in the community, where I had to walk dogs and realized that their trails needed refurbishment. The total cost of the project is $20,000, and I have already raised $10,000, and I'm looking to you guys for the rest. Do you have any questions?
Okay, any questions? You say you have a walking trail?
Yes, sir.
Where is it going to be located?
The Humane Shelter.
Okay, at the Humane Shelter. Okay.
And Mr. President, I've already talked to the director of the Humane Shelter, and he's aware if we do put any money towards the project, we can give it directly to the Humane Society. He'll make sure that Bobby gets those resources to complete the project.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
You gonna have your dad help you with it?
A little bit.
That's good.
Thank you, sir. I think that's a good project. We'll see what we can do for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Glennis Tanner, Executive Director for Montgomery Housing Authority, and Mr. Jesse Day.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Glennis Tanner with Montgomery Housing Authority. We come before you today pertaining to something that's hurting our communities. Right now, on Sunday nights, we're having groups of people coming out to Gibbs East and having block parties. We need assistance from the city to help us to maintain peaceful and enjoyment premises for our families there. Mr. Day will kind of present to you what we're seeing going on in that area right now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
As we draw closer to the summer months, Gibbs in particular, Gibbs East, we see the crime rate getting ready to climb. We see activity taking place that has not taken place. We have gone through, we've talked to residents, we've gotten residents to get onto our side to become a part of the solution rather than a part of the problem. The traffic that we have in the housing authority, in the housing areas on Sunday afternoon stops the normal flow of traffic. It makes it unsafe for the residents to be out, and it doesn't allow the children or the other residents of the area to enjoy the area. Now, what have we done? Well, we've increased the number of cameras that we have in the area. We've hired a nighttime roving security patrol. We've increased the monitoring that goes on of the cameras so that we can provide the police with quicker information. We've increased the lease termination that we use for the residents who violate the leases. And more residents, the most important thing, more residents have gotten on board and become to be a part of our solution. Let us know what's going on so that we can try to resolve the issues. What do we need? We need the police. We need the police, and we know that they're shorthanded, but we need a faster response from the police. We need police to remove the crowds from the areas when they see them, not to just drive through. We need the cars on the sides that are illegally parked to be towed, ticketed, whatever the case may be. In other words, we need your help. Now, I have some photographs that I am going to provide to you to show you the block parties from last week and the week prior to that. Prior to those 2 weeks, we had a pretty good handle on the things that were going on. But as the summer gets closer, it gets hotter. They have no place to go, so they draw into Gibbs, which is a open type of a property. And we're faced with the problems that we have from them now. We need your help.
Okay, any questions, comments for Mr. Day?
Mr. Day, what's the hours of security?
8 p.m. to 3 a.m.
I will say this, I do know the issues we're having because I get all the phone calls on the weekend, and you all know that because I've talked to you all several times about it. And we do need to increase security in that area because we have had a whole lot of problems that's been going on lately. We just had an incident yesterday that was called in over in that area as well. So I'm gonna do what I can to try to help because we do need to make sure people are safe. And it is getting ridiculous over in that area because I constantly ride through there just to see. And I know one time, I think I called you, Mr. Day, when I pulled up on a young man actually beating a young lady out there. And I was just out there doing some canvassing that day, just talking, and that's what I ran in on. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, and I'm gonna do what I can to assist as much as I can.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Mitchell. Yeah.
Mr. Day, so I guess my biggest concern, are we trespassing? Are we getting the individuals that they're actually being at the apartment, because, and I know the police can come out there, run them off, and by the time the police turn around and we're not putting trespassing on them, they can come right back, because our police officers wouldn't know who are residents at that particular property. So what are we doing to ensure that we're trespassing or evicting those individuals that's allowing them to congregate at their apartment?
You're absolutely right. And every month, I take a copy of the trespass list, I update it, and I send a copy of it over to the police department so that they will have it as well. As we can identify people, we trespass them. And when we trespass them, then we go down to the magistrate the following day and we get the trespass warrants for them. If I get a trespass warrant, I will inform the police that I have that warrant.
Mr. Day, my question would be, I know back in the day we had Montgomery Housing Authority had their own police department, their own people, and I don't know what happened. I was younger then, but on your warrants, I know you're asking for help from Montgomery Police Department and the City of Montgomery. How do your security? I know you say they from 3 to 8 or 8 to 3 a.m. So are they helping you with the warrants or helping you move this traffic when they're on duty? What's the hours of operation when this traffic is going on at your facilities?
Okay, the security patrol is there from 8 to 3. They do trespass whenever they can trespass. Every time they get a individual that they trespass, they'll call me, they put the name into the report. I make sure the name is on the trespass list. I will get the manager from that complex to go down to get the trespass warrant.
Okay.
Wait a minute, let me ask one more question. So from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. is when security, so from 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. is no security out there?
No, ma'am, there's no security during those hours.
Because I know a lot of this stuff is going on between the hours of 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4, all the way up to it gets dark. So do you think we need to look at getting security earlier in the daytime as well, instead of just not at night?
Yes, ma'am, we'll take a look at that also.
Because I think you're asking for a partnership, so we need to know that you're expending everything that you can do in order for us to help you with this problem. We understand what's going on. Our prayers go out with the situation that's going on right now with the kidnapping and the Amber Alert that went out with the parent. I just saw something where they found the car but not the kids, so we want to continue to pray for those families on that issue there. All right, any more questions of Mr. Day?
Mr. President, one
Mr.
other
Mitchell.
question. And Mr. Day, and I guess that's my biggest concern. I know you're giving the police department a list, but if they're not familiar, do you have anybody? Because if they're not familiar with it, there's no picture. Is it a picture with their names on it? Because if I'm a police officer, I can't. If a person just standing out there, I can't just run up and say, "Hey, give me your ID." So I just want to make sure that I understand what we're trying to do when you trespass. You have anybody on staff that can actually point out and say, yes, that person does not supposed to be on these premises. You need to leave, or how are you actually doing that to make sure that those trespassers are not on there?
Yes, sir. Whenever we can take a picture of the individual, we get a picture. If we can't get that picture, we try to get it off of our cameras that are on the property. I do send out emails to the police department from the staff on down and let them know who this person is as much as I can let them know.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Day, you are connected to Star Watch, right? With your cameras? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner.
Thank you.
Natasha Foster, YMCA.
Good afternoon. I'm Natasha Foster. I am the Outreach Director for the YMCA of Greater Montgomery. The Achievers Program is a program that's going into its 7th year. It's a college and career readiness program, and I'm here today to ask for your continued support of these students. Through the program, we have a 100% graduation rate. 100% of our students go off to college or to the military, and these are also first generation college students. We take about 10 college tours per year, ACT prep, scholarship workshops. So we're helping our next generation get to the next level. The program is free to all of our students, and so we are asking that the City Council continue to support this program. We serve all traditional Montgomery Public Schools, that's middle and high schools. This Friday, we're taking 50 students to the University of Montevideo for a college tour. And like I said, all of this is free, and we couldn't do it without the support of you guys. So once again, coming to you asking for your support.
Okay, any questions? Thank you, Natasha, appreciate what you do. All right, anything else from the council? All right, I want to recognize a guest that just walked in. She's a classmate of mine. Leadership Montgomery, class 21, Miss Sherry Weeks. She can't hear me. Hello, I just wanted to speak to you. The best class ever. Thank you, that concludes our work session. The best class.